Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 5 of Out of Character. We have a guest here as another server owner. Her name is Pixel Soar. Hi, Pixel Soar. You know what? It's all the same. Well, welcome to the show. And hi, Nixie. Can't hear Pixel. I'll turn her up a little bit. Hmm. I can hear you, okay. Um Oh, you know what? Let me see. Give me 1 second here.
Sometimes OBS is a pain in the ass. Capture.
All right, let's give that a shot. I think there may have been something funky with my audio devices.
Maybe we're just muted.
Hi.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you, Sparhawk, and
Hello
welcome.
again, everybody.
Yeah, hello everyone. Hello. I am feeling a little
Hello.
under the weather, so I might kind of take a backseat approach to this interview today. But you know me, I'm gonna talk anyway. I am a talker.
You're gonna.
But welcome everyone, and welcome Pixel Soar. Thank you for
Thank
stopping
you.
by.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to be here.
So we were actually talking, and what Nixie was saying is that this is the first guest that we have on that we actually haven't RP'd heavily or if at all with. So it's going to be interesting to get to know a role player outside of like our usual circles or
Because up to this point, our questions are like, here's how I met this person, and here's the role play we've had together.
Right.
So it's gonna be interesting because we don't really have that yet. So
Yeah.
you are the first.
Yeah.
Welcome.
This season specifically that we've been doing, I haven't really played any like main characters for myself. Everything has been a story character. And I've just been running story basically since the season started, but I've been enjoying the hell out of it. And I did perma 2 characters at the beginning of the season and broke everybody's heart, which was oh so fun. I enjoy doing that to people. But so far I have been mostly, like I said, playing story characters, and it's been nice. But the problem I find with story characters is they don't leave their intended area very often, so I don't get to go out and kind of meet a lot of new faces. It's either people come to me and I meet them, or I meet them through events that we do with said characters. So really, I haven't been able to even meet your characters on the server because I haven't had the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, and I think what happens a lot with story-specific characters or like admin characters is that they're there for a very obvious reason most of the time. So when you're trying to serve a purpose or you're trying to get something done, there isn't really a lot of room to kind of stretch outside of that. So I get that.
Yeah, I agree. We try to do it a little different, just because we don't want it to feel like a job to play certain characters. Like, we know that there are going to be characters that we have to play sometimes that are like not our favorite. It's not going to be super fun for us. It's one of those like, okay, well, I have to do this to like fill a gap or create a role. But realistically, the ones that I have been playing this season, I've actually really enjoyed them. Especially the one that I'm kind of maining right now, which is Bernadette, and she is absolutely. I'm loving her character. I'm loving playing her. It's a little different than what I usually do. So it's nice. It's a nice like change of scenery and RP and just the whole shebang.
Yeah, that's awesome. What to get started with some questions, what got you into RP?
That's actually a really good question. So when I was a teenager, on MSN Messenger, for those of you who remember what that is,
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of text RP in their like chat rooms for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Interesting.
And that's kind of how I started. I know it's really cringy. And then from there, it obviously progressed from um, like AIM RP or Messenger RP to more like forum stuff. And then I started RPing on World of Warcraft. And then I started RPing on this other game. I don't even remember which one it was, to be honest. It was another MMO. And then I remember I had been streaming for a while. I kind of stopped, not like completely stopped RPing, but it like wasn't really something I was focusing on for a while. You know, I kind of took like a break for a couple years, and I remember I was scrolling through Twitch. I don't even remember why, and my partner at the time, who didn't have a computer or anything, I allowed them to buy Red Dead Redemption 2 on my Steam so they could play it. Because that's a game that I never picked up the Red Dead games. I know they're really good, but I've never played the single players. I've never played the campaigns. I kind of just, you know, I was like, oh, those games look good, but they're just not for me. I don't like games like that, personally. So, I remember I was scrolling through Twitch and I came across this woman named Georgia Banks, and she does Red M roleplay streaming for her character. And it was the first time I had ever heard of voice RP in a game.
Really?
And this was only 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty recent.
It was very recent, and I was like, oh, this is really fun. So for like a week and a half, I was obsessed. Anytime she went live, I had like notifications on my phone. I was getting emails. Anytime she went live, I would tune in. I would watch the whole thing because it was like a sitcom. It was like this like addicting like show that I was watching, and I loved it. And then I remembered I have that game. Like I didn't play it. I've never played it, but I have it. So I asked in her chat, and I was like, hey, how do you like get into this? Like, how does one do this? And she sent me the link to the server she was on, and I went to the server and I applied. And you know, I did the steps to download Red M and like set everything up, and I got whitelisted, and I made my first character, who was Ismay Ellison. She was a little orphan Southern girl from Montana, and I was like obsessed, like so addicted to this like new world that I just found myself in, where I can actually act out my emotions in a vocal sense than just typing them down. And it was just like from there on, that was it. I was hooked, and I could not stop.
Yeah, we've talked about previously how the difference between like voice acting and role playing when it comes to RP and you know, written and text RP, like there is so much more satisfying because of the fact that, you know, you get instant responses, and
no, I absolutely agree.
There's so much that can come across just tone and voice that makes things differently. But I actually never did text RP myself, except for the casual, you know,
I did.
emoting. Yeah. But it's surprising me the more people that we interview how many people started with the text RP, which Nixie is one of them.
Yeah,
it seems like we have a lot of people coming in saying that they've done text RP in the past, but like when they first got started.
I never even prior to that whole thing, I had never really even had done like RP. So this is gonna be really sad for some people, but in my experience in Pathfinder and D&D, I never got to like role play out a character because at the time I was way too anxious and shy. So anytime I played that with people, I always just like kind of like talked out what I would do. I never like sat there and actually role played. Because my anxiety wouldn't allow me to do that. But I think that's the beauty of voice RP in games is my anxiety. Nobody's looking at me. You know, they're looking at a character.
Yeah.
So I can act out what I need to act out without having that anxiety now because I don't feel eyes on me. I feel like I can finally like freely flow that creative energy without my anxiety kind of crushing it.
I definitely understand how that is because I also have had pretty bad anxiety in the past. But role plays, it's people ask you, they're like, well, if you have anxiety, why are you able to talk to people with like as an outgoing character? But really, it's more, it's not me. It's not me talking. That's my character talking.
Exactly. Yeah, you're playing someone else. So that person doesn't have anxiety. You know, that person's confident or that person's, you know, brave. It's different for everyone. And anxiety can come in all shapes and sizes. I'm able to easily talk like online through a microphone, but in real life I would be like cowering in a corner. Like strangers just I can't talk to them in real life. It scares me.
Yeah, I mean, you're always a little braver when you're putting on a mask, right? Nobody can see you. So it works that same way too. And that disconnect that you have, and I know some people outside of this that it has helped them with like social anxiety, like in real life, just being able to jump out there, and which is pretty interesting.
No, I absolutely agree with that completely. You know, you get these social situations. Granted, it's in character, but you still have these little circles that, you know, you get to sit there and talk to a decent amount of people, and I feel like it creates this like slow progress to making it go from online to real life.
Yeah, I get that for sure. What type of games have you done RP in? Other than I know right now you're doing Conan. You started on Red Dead. Have you expanded outside of
that?
That
is literally it. So I started on Red Dead. I played on Red M. I played Ismay for that character. I probably played for like maybe I'd say 6 to 7 months. And then she kind of like disappeared, and I took a break on that specific server. And I went to a different one for a little while, and I played a similar character. And then I was like, okay, you know, I want to do something different. So I went back to the same server I had started on, and I started off playing a criminal, and it was my first time playing a criminal. And I was like super excited about it. I was going to play this character that was supposed to be like an information broker essentially, and she would like gather information on all the like gangs and all the like baddies, and she would sell it to people, including like the cops if she had to. Anything to basically get her money. She wanted to prove to her father, essentially. It was daddy issues. She wanted to prove to her father that she was like this person that he could respect and that she was tough. And she was from Boston, which is where I actually am from. So this character was very much similar to me. So she was supposed to be from Boston. Her father owned like an underground fighting ring, and she was like the daughter that he always wanted a son. And it was a fun character to play, and I was really excited to play this criminal. And then I met Kuro, who is another one of the admins on EQ. I met her character Finley, and she ruined all of my plans. She fell in love with my character. My character fell in love with her character. Made her good. Like I had to stop. Like the whole thing got ruined. All my plans got ruined. But it was perfect because her and I ended up getting to know each other out of character. And we ended up dating and meeting each other, and now she lives with me here in Massachusetts. And we work together on EQ. So it went from Red M to Conan, and it's been, like I said, it's been like 2.5 years of me doing voice RP. So really that's been it so far. I did a little bit of GTA. I probably played on a GTA RP server for about 2 months, but real life RP, like current day RP, just isn't for me. I am not good
I feel
at
that.
pretending to be someone from today because I fail at that every day anyway.
Oh
So
my
doing
God.
it in RP is just like non-existent for me.
Yeah. I
So
think the
that was
problem that
hard
I
for
have
me.
with current day RP is that like it only holds my attention for so long. Before
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to log on to a server to do a job and to
And no
like,
offense to any GTA RPers, but the one server that I did get on and play on was just it was like I was constantly in like a 4chan like website. Like that was just like the server completely was just like trolly, and everybody was just being like really memey, and I couldn't stand it. And I tried a different one, and it was too clicky for me, and I was like, okay, this obviously isn't my game. So I went back to Red M, and then again moved over to Conan, and was like, oh, this is definitely more my type, because of fantasy. I love fantasy. Granted, I like the old day stuff of Red Ed. I really just like the fantasy RP that we've been doing.
Yeah,
on
I really
Conan.
like Red Ed as well, but the Red M, but it's very slow paced. And although it could be relaxing and kind of nice, it's after a while it's just like, okay, well, here we go again.
Right. No, I completely
I
understand.
guess moving. Wait, sorry, my internet is so bad tonight. Moving but to EQ from there, I guess, like, what are the different things? Because you said that you're a storyteller and you do stuff like that. So what all do you do on EQ currently?
So this is actually my first time doing any type of like mod or admin role on an RP server. So this is like all very a new experience to me. And being the DM is also very new to me because I've always just been a player. So basically what I have been personally doing, and a lot of my cohorts have also been doing it, is we this season especially, we had decided that going into this season we weren't gonna do just like one big bad guy like most servers do, where they choose like, okay, this season this is gonna be the enemy, this is who people are gonna be fighting. We decided that each individual admin and mod was allowed to create a mini story, and we would play out those mini stories to give the players multiple stories to be involved in and not just one. And there currently are 3 main storylines that we are working on, which is the Shadowfell have returned, which were the bad guys from last season. We now have this voice that has been attacking people and taking them to this other realm and giving them madness and all that stuff. And then we also have Bernadette, the Pierpont family, who she's from the Eastern Kingdom of Prazel, who is being attacked by these Drow assassins because she has this like special magic that their queen wants. So people are trying to protect her as well. So right now the kingdom is under attack between 3 different people. So there's the Shadowfell, the Drow, and now and the invisible voices that have been grabbing people essentially and summoning these random ghostly skeletons. And then we had little stories here and there, like there was a goblin story going on, and we had like a little vampire story going on and a werewolf thing. And I know that we had some like nomads for a little while. So we're all doing like these little tiny stories here and there. And that's kind of how we're doing it this season is, once it gets towards the end of the season, it will obviously be the main bad guy story. But throughout the season, we're doing little mini ones here and there to kind of pique everybody's interest and give everybody options to do different things and such.
Yeah, that's cool. As far as things that you've tried out and that you've done RP in, is there anything that you would like to that you are not or haven't gotten a chance to? Like, as an example for me, I've always said that I would love to do like cyberpunk theme RP, because like as much as I like fantasy, sci-fi is kind of where my heart is at.
Mhm.
And I would love to do something like that. Is there anything for you?
Well, my partner Kuro actually does cyberpunk RP, so that's funny that you say that. But I'm a huge fantasy nerd. Ever since I was a kid, I was obsessed, an unhealthy obsession with Harry Potter. And ever since
Yes.
then,
Sorry,
I'm
no,
just
that was my jam.
yes, I was obsessed with the fantasy realm of, going to this school where you learn to be a witch and like there's magic and unicorns and like all these little creatures. I just love fantasy. I always have. I didn't really people hate me for it, but for a very long time I didn't even like Star Wars. I didn't get into Star Wars until like 3 years ago
Oh,
when I
wow.
finally decided to sit down and watch it because I was so into Harry Potter and fantasy that I refused to like anything else.
I don't blame you
Um,
though. Like I have a wand right in front of me right now. So it's just
yeah,
it's just
I
what it
have
is.
Does that
I
mean
have a
that game
couple.
that you wanna the
Oh,
game
I'm
you
so
wanna roleplay on
excited.
is Hogwarts Legacy
I'm
because
so excited for Legacy.
Hogwarts
I
Legacy.
mean, it is a
I'm
single
so
player,
excited.
which is upsetting. I hope they
Yep.
make multiplayer option eventually,
I
but
know.
I'm so excited for that game. I'm gonna be really upset if it doesn't live up to my expectations. And yes, for those of you who are asking, I am a Hufflepuff. That's the real question here.
Oh,
I
thank you.
am
I am also a Hufflepuff.
Ravenclaw.
Yes, Hufflepuffs are the best. Okay, we're great finders. We're loyal, best friends. Of course you did. Everybody knows I'm a Hufflepuff. No one ever guesses any other house for me.
And
Once they
sorry
talk to me, they
yes,
know.
you know,
Uh-oh.
Sorry, next you were getting cut out there a little bit.
sorry.
What was that?
Give me a sec.
Slytherin.
Yeah, everybody always knows. I'll
They-
ask them. I'll be like, "Hey, what house do you think I'm in?" And they'll always say I've never gotten a guess for anything else.
I don't even really know you, and I was gonna guess Hufflepuff.
Yeah, everybody does. I
What, what were you gonna say next?
don't know why.
Sorry, I'm trying different internets. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I get.
Yeah. Yeah, you sound much better.
Yeah, it's just laggy for me. So I'm sorry if I talk over anybody. Did you just make a Harry Potter musical reference?
I might have. I'm a big fan of the Harry Potter musical series as well.
Heard, and I went.
Yes. Yes, the Harry Potter musical is. I actually just finished watching that like 2 weeks ago. I watched a Harry Potter musical, a Harry Potter sequel, and the senior year, and I watched through literally all of them on YouTube. And I've done it before, but like I wanted to rewatch them, and it's so funny. And I love how
It's
in the
so funny.
last one, the senior year, they actually got Ivana Lynch to
Luna
play Luna
Lovegood.
Lovegood. I was so
Yeah.
excited about that. So
She's
That
so
was
good
fun.
too. She can
I
sing, and it was
know.
amazing.
it was super cute. Big fan, big fan.
it's so
Yeah, Harry Potter. It's honestly, Harry Potter is a huge. I don't know if you guys talk about controversial stuff on here, but Harry Potter is hard for me now because I love Harry Potter. It was my childhood, but at the same time, J.K. Rowling, I just can't agree with her anymore.
J.K. Rowling.
I'm pansexual. Both of my
It's so
partners are
difficult.
trans, so it's hard for me to be in love with the thing she created. Now, granted, I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, I hate Harry Potter now because of her." She created something that, like I said, it gave me my childhood. But I'll never be able to side with her anymore.
I think it's one of those things
Unfortunately
that you
for
have to
her.
like try to separate the art from the artist.
Exactly.
And it sometimes is not very easy. But
It is not.
um,
I try to buy all of my Harry Potter stuff from like Etsy and like small companies now.
yeah,
If I do purchase a Harry Potter something, because I don't want to give her money.
Still gonna play Hogwarts Legacy though.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm gonna play the
absolutely.
shit out of that.
Unfortunately, that is something I can't not do, and I've already told my partners, and they're both totally okay with it. You know, as long as I'm, you know, no, they know that I'm a good person. They know that I'm not a transphobe. So they said, you know, you can play the game. We don't care. So as long as
Yeah.
nobody is mad at me for it, I'm
Right.
okay with playing it.
There's a couple of like I'm hoping for a multiplayer mod for that at some point, but I'm also
Right.
hoping for a VR mod for that.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
And so you know we'll see, but
Mm,
I'm very excited about that.
same.
What let's see, let's go through some of the questions here. So you're saying that
Sorry.
you're kind of like the right hand man, so to speak, on the server.
Yes.
How has that been? Like, did you just get into that due to like a friendship, or did you volunteer? And how has been your experience being like like a head admin or anything like that on a server?
So, at the very beginning, at the very, very beginning, when we first started, I had gotten a message from Cynical, who was a friend I knew through a friend. And him and I had talked a bunch, you know, OOC. We had never actually really RP'd together. But we like talked in like a friendly manner. And he messaged me one day and he said, he was like, you know, me and my friend are about to start a RP server, and I know that you had strong opinions of others before, and I was wondering if you'd want to be a mod or an admin. And I was a little iffy at first because I knew one that it would be a lot of work, but I also was like, I don't know if it would be worth it because I didn't expect anything to come of it. So, you know, at first I was like, let me think about it. And then I took like a week to kind of really think like, okay, do I want to do something like that? And I finally made the decision that I wanted to at least try to create a community that I knew people would enjoy. And I wanted to make sure that I was there to hold people accountable for that. So I said yes, and I asked to be a mod at first, because I didn't want the responsibility of an admin. So I started off as a mod, and I helped them, you know, get the server ready. We, you know, started literally from scratch. And I think when we began, we had a total of like 80 people in our Discord, maybe less. And at first it really was kind of a stressful, it was stressful because we started off on a different server, like a server, a background server, you know, running game server.
The host, yeah.
Yeah, we started off on oh god, I don't even remember the name of it. It's the one that Funcom like sponsors. And we started off on that one, and we not only started off on that one, but in the process of everything, 2.0 was coming out and everything was screwed up. So we were like kind of figuring that out. And yes, G Portal, thank you. And we ended up having to, in season 1, we had to literally erase the entire server and switch over to GTX because G Portal was trash for us. I don't know if anybody else's experience, but ours was horrible. You know, the customer service was just bad, and the server itself, we were paying like as much as we could with all of the Patreon donations that we had, and it still just like was not running properly. So we were like, okay, there's obviously something wrong. We need to switch the server. So we in character stated that a big thing happened where, you know, the Shadowfell attacked and the world kind of like ripped apart, and you know, the main town was saved because of magic, this, that, and the other thing. And we switched to a new server, which was GTX. And, you know, we kept everything the same pretty much. I think we changed maps, but I don't specifically. Yeah, we did. We changed maps because the one map we were on at the beginning was just completely messed up because of Deep 2.0. And we started off fresh on GTX. And when that happened, I had gone from mod to admin. And I felt like at the time we were all really learning what we were doing. We all, you know, even the people who had been admins, even Bree, who was, again, she's the leader, she's the owner, we were all just like learning how to work with each other. We were learning how to work with each other. We were learning each other because, again, none of us really knew each other aside from like a couple of people. And we were kind of figuring out, okay, how are we going to do this? And season 1, I will admit, was a bit of a mess. Again, it was new to us. We were a new team. We were all learning. And I feel we learned a great deal in season 1, and we have changed a lot. We have also, me and Bree are actually the only ones still left on the team from the original 8. Everybody else is gone. So Bree and I have brought on a ton of new people. And I feel like we are in a good momentum now where we have finally, okay, we know what we're doing. We've learned each other. We feel confident. We have this thing down pat. So we are now finally like succeeding. And we went from these 80 people to now we have like 600 people in the Discord, and we're consistently
the
getting
server's full. Yeah.
Yeah, the server's always full. We always have a queue. We had to pause whitelists right now because we have too many people trying to get in. We have a queue of like 25 people every night, and we can't up the server slots because Conan's just not playable after 70.
Yeah,
it's just,
no, Conan
it's
doesn't.
too much. So really, in my opinion, I think we're really succeeding. And I'm very proud of us. I think we've gone from this like point of, okay, I feel like this is really going to fall apart. I don't think we're going to succeed, to what is happening. When did this happen? Because it feels like it happened overnight, that we like went from this like group of people who were so incredibly disheveled to, oh my God, we actually know what we're doing and this is working. And it's just like, it's really great to see that progress. I feel really
that's awesome.
Confident. It really has helped my like depression and self-confidence like so much, because not only do I see the progress we're making, but I constantly am hearing from people. They like send me messages. They're like, oh my God, you're doing great. Keep up the good work. And it's really nice to know that we're doing something and we've created this community where so many people not only want to play, but they feel comfortable. And I think that was, at the end of the day, that was really the goal. And I feel like we're succeeding with it.
Yeah, that's pretty great. And as you're running the server with different seasons and stuff like that, are you all like proactive to like planning for future seasons? Do you like to see where the season goes, or how does the team work in regards to pre-planning?
So the way we have done it is we are planned until season 3. So right now, season 1 was in the Feywilds. We are now in the Mortal Realm. Everybody knows that the connection is there, that people were allowed to keep their characters. There is a connection in the story. and that will continue into season 3, which I don't want to spoil anything, but that connection of storyline is going to continue into season 3. That's all I'll say. After season 3, we have yet to plan anything because we're gonna see what happens. And then we'll kind of decide where we want to go. But so far, we have only planned the first 3 seasons because, again, we did not expect to get this successful. We honestly felt like we were going to be a very small RP server. We never expected to have this many players. To have a consistency of 70 players every day is like blowing our minds. We never expected this.
How did the big update that dropped for Conan affect you all?
Well, to be honest, it wasn't great. For a while there, we really felt like everything was gonna have to be wiped again, and we were afraid that we were gonna lose everybody because we were gonna have to redo everything. But thankfully, because of all the awesome people who work on Conan mods, especially the people who do it full time and literally don't do anything else, we were able to continue and update those mods, and it honestly, it was a smooth transition. We went from, granted, we went from, playing every day to having to wait, like, I think it was a full week of no playing, no doing anything. But it wasn't as long as we expected. We expected a month downtime. It was only like a week and a half. So really, it went smoothly for us. We didn't have too many problems. We ended up having to switch again the server, but after that, after we went to GTX, it was so smooth. Season 1, there was like hardly ever any lag. It was great. And even now, even in season 2, granted, we have 70 players at all times. The lag isn't as bad as it could be, in my opinion. I've been on servers where there was 40 players online and you can't even move. So I feel GTX does a great job at least trying to handle how many people we have online and how many events we run and such.
Yeah, it gets a little interesting when it comes to like all the technical side and stuff. We've had a modder here for Ark on the show. I have some friends that work on mods for Ark and Conan, and can't wait to talk to them a bit more about that, especially like, the experience of Conan is going to drop an update that's going to break a lot of shit. So that's something that I would like to talk about, because we were there. We experienced servers suffering from this update, and hopefully, thankfully, it was less impactful than we thought it would be. We thought mods were going to take forever to be updated and fixed, and
we really did believe that. I think it was I hate to like make this horribly old reference, but it was kind of like a Y2K situation where we were sitting here waiting for it to drop and seeing, okay, what's gonna break, what's gonna stop working, are we gonna die, like what's gonna happen. So it was especially for the team, especially, it was just like it was a very anxious waiting game of, okay, when is stuff gonna work? Is this gonna just ruin everything?
Yeah, I think
really didn't feel like it took that long for the server to come back up either. I swear it was only like half a week.
Yeah, we tried. We were working very, very diligently. We were making sure that we only were adding at the time, because we wanted the server to get up. It was our first season. We had already had downtime because we had to switch the map and switch servers, so we didn't want there to be any more downtime. So really, we were kind of like, okay, let's get rid of this mod so we can put in this mod that's already finished. And we kind of, again, we worked very quickly and tirelessly, and it was a lot of work, but we wanted to make sure players could play.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool to know. Seeing like a team being proactive and try to get things up and running, because as quickly as some of these communities and servers can become popular, they can die pretty quickly too. The other way around. There's always another server somewhere out there that people are free to check out. So I think it puts a sense of pressure on admin teams or owners of servers to kind of be up to date and do as much as they can. Thankfully, I've never had to experience it, but yeah. So, Nixie, do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
I've been a server owner before.
Oh yeah, you
long
have.
time ago on Arc. So yeah, so I ran a Camelot themed server, which was really interesting.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it was fun. It was definitely fun.
I
We ran
love
for about
that.
4 seasons, and I remember it is a lot of pressure when you're doing.
Oh, I'm
things,
sure.
'cause
Yeah.
the community is always on your butt.
Yep. That is the
Get it
one thing I
done
learned
now.
very quickly. Our community hasn't so much been pushy as more so very critiquing, which is fine. I mean, I'm expecting it. And I know that it's something that happens. Everybody's going to have an opinion. Everyone's going to have a voice. I'm not upset about it. It's more so that was the stress I didn't expect. I knew it was going to be stressful. I knew it was going to be busy. But the stress that really kind of, and it's not anybody's fault, and I'm not blaming anyone, but I think for me particularly, on a personal level, the most, like the thing that gives me the most stress is when I think or I feel or I hear that the players are upset or they're, not happy or something's wrong and they're questioning things. Because the whole reason I did this, the whole reason I'm doing it is to make a place where players feel like they can enjoy themselves. And if they think that we're, going behind their back and like nerfing something or we're not doing something the right way, I want them to tell us, because the whole point I'm doing this is for them. I don't care about, oh, okay, well, if you think this thing's too powerful, I want to fix it. Because it's not like I'm sitting here making it powerful for me. I want to make sure everything's equal. I want to make sure that everybody is having the same amount of, fun when it comes to like a PvP situation or event. I want everyone to be experiencing an equal, opportunity of what class they're playing, what race they're playing, what they're doing. Because that's the whole reason I'm doing it. I'm doing it for them. I'm not doing it for me. And when I find these problems, when I'm told about these problems, I want to fix them. Now, unfortunately, there are situations where we have to nerf something because we're like, okay, well, this isn't fair to everyone else. And unfortunately,
like the
those
sorcerer's problem.
Yeah, so unfortunately,
they were so powerful.
We did not, at the very beginning when we added ancient sorcery, we hadn't necessarily tested it with the plus 100 sorcery. We didn't expect sorcery in Indrid's CRNC to affect the ancient sorcery. We didn't think that they had the same code, and we found out later in the season that they did. And it was getting to a point where sorcerers were able to get like 1,000 health buff because of, and it was like, okay, this is too much.
Some examples. It was pretty intense sometimes. The sorcerers were quite powerful. So when it got nerfed, it felt much more balanced. It was like,
and I know there was a lot of people that were angry. They were like, oh, like now I'm not as good, blah, blah, blah. But in the end, you still kind of, we gave them 30 right? So they have 30 and you can still put 20 into it. So realistically, you can still have 50 sorcery. And in my opinion, not only is that more than everyone else, but you're also doing way more damage than anyone else could with the ancient sorcery buffs. So we still gave them a huge boost in damage and buffs and everything else. And you know, it was a thing where there were some people that, you know, main sorcerer, and they were like, oh well, now I hate it, can I get a class change? And anytime we nerf anything, a class wise or a race, we absolutely, we're like, okay, you can get a free class change. Because if we do something that, you know, you really enjoyed and now you're not going to enjoy it anymore, we don't want you to be stuck on it. So yeah, absolutely, we'll give you a class change. But realistically, in my opinion, from doing all the testing, I work on all our CRNC. I do everything. I've built the classes, I've built the races for this I mean, with some help, of course. But for this season, I've been doing all the percentage, I've been doing everything. And I feel it is much more balanced now, and it's more streamlined. So everybody is now doing an equal amount of damage with ancient sorcery, aside from the little buff that sorcerers get because they're sorcerers. They're supposed to be good at magic.
Yeah, it's just another one of those things that you when you have a lot of sway on what the server's doing and everything, it's
Right.
those things that you have to take into account is you got to work on it as time goes on, and you'll find things that work and things that don't. It's always good when your community is behind your back on your changes and understand why it changed and how it did.
Absolutely, 100%. And we always try to explain it too. You know, we don't just take something away and say, okay, we're taking this away. We try to give an explanation, so it's not, we don't want our community to be held in the dark, essentially. We want everybody to know that we're not doing like secret things. We want everyone to know exactly what we're doing because, again, this is for them. So we want them to know that we're doing it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think what were we gonna say next?
Nope, sorry.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times it's like what players don't understand is because sometimes it's a little personal when something changes that affects them, but when what some players don't understand is that sometimes you have to do that for the good of the server health, you know, like for gameplay all around. So it does happen quite often, but you know, there's not much that you can do as you go through. There are going to be changes because not everything is thought of ahead of time. There's like
Right.
a foundation or a start or a base, and then you work from there.
No, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree.
But yeah, Nixie, do you have anything else?
I mean, what is your opinion on the server so far? Are you enjoying the roleplay you're getting, and your personal story, if you really have any of that? I know Bernadette's pretty intense on their storyline right now.
Yes, so I'm actually really enjoying Bernadette. So I originally made her to be, like I said, she was supposed to be kind of like a side story mission for some characters to kind of, you know, help out this princess from another kingdom and get her to the king. And that was supposed to be kind of the end of it. And it turned into something way more. And it really kind of got out of control in a sense where I no longer had the reins to what was going on in this story. So it turned out to be, you know, we had the little event that I wanted. I ran it. It was my first time running one. I was really excited. And, you know, I expected, okay, after that, they would get her to the king. You know, she would end up leaving with an army to her kingdom, and that would be the last time anyone saw her. And that's not what happened. And unfortunately, sometimes when you plan out RP, it doesn't really work because you can't really plan RP because players are always going to be changing and making choices that you don't expect, and things are going to happen that you can't control. And that's kind of what's going on with Bernadette. but I love it because that means I get to play her longer. People are getting to know her more. She's coming out of her shell. She's, learning new things. She's being taught by people now. And now instead of that like little event that I did, now a full-blown war is going to take place, which I think is going to be just so much fun. And I'm really excited to do that. And I'm looking forward to that RP because it definitely is going to be very exciting to do. And I really have been enjoying her. Granted, like I said, she is a story character. I would say out of everyone I've played so far, her RP has been my favorite because, well, one, I get to be a princess, and everybody knows that I'm a princess. But also, I've loved the consistent, like, secrecy and the new things she's learning and these secrets that are coming out about her family and her father and the drow themselves and what's going to be happening. And it's just very exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next for her.
That's awesome. Well, besides that, do you have anything that you'd like to just say in general, like to the community or the people watching right now or people who might listen in the future?
Well, one, I want to thank you guys for having me because this is really awesome and I super enjoyed it. As for our community, I just want to say thank you. You guys have been awesome, and you've allowed me to experience something different, and I'm really enjoying it. I love being an admin, and I can't wait to see what else we're able to do for people. And again, thank you so much for having me. It was awesome. I really appreciate it, and your viewers have been really nice. So
Yeah, thank you for being on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much,
everyone, for hanging out and interacting in the chat. It's always nice to see kind of people's feedback as we go. And sorry that I'm not feeling all that well. Next week, hopefully, I'll be a little better and more chipper. But Pixel Sword, thank you for hanging
out.
Yes,
Sorry, I had bad internet today. I was super laggy behind, but we had just a few problems this time. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but we may do. Thanks for all the new follows, everyone. Thank you. And Lister, thank you for all the subs. That's awesome. Appreciate it. And we will see you all next time.
Well, thank you again. You guys have a great day.